Can you hear me? Check, check, check.
Yep, check.
All right. Can you still hear me if I'm like this far away? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, you're good there.
All right, cool.
Always look. The this is gonna look dirty, but the perfect length from a mic is a fist away from your mic. So like this.
All right. I was taught differently in rap school.
Oh yeah. Rapping is different.
I was taught that it was this. That far away. But then again, when you're forming a podcast, I mean, you're just talking. When you're rapping, you're borderline screaming into the microphone. Unless you're Eminem, then you actually are screaming. Have we started yet? Is this on air?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Check. All right, cool. Just making sure.
I gotta start with an apology.
Always something. It's always something. It was last week. It was I gotta say, man, I'm kind of jealous. This week it's I gotta apologize about something. All right, let's hear it. What's your apology?
So last podcast, which I hope you guys enjoyed. By the time that we're recording this, it hasn't even been published yet because this has been an insane week. Nothing has when the universe decides not to function properly, nothing functions. I've uploaded the podcast 3 times. Overnight, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. At work, I came home. I rushed home I missed my lunch. As we are speaking right now, I am keeping my eye on my computer as the podcast is still loading. So I would greatly appreciate if you guys haven't watched that podcast to pause this right now and go and watch it. Because it has been a labor of love.
But the thing is you were telling me, like, it's one of those things where the universe knows that this is what's going to make, like, you super mad famous. Like, the podcast is going to blow up. And it's almost like... I never said that. It's your future self, like, some interstellar stuff. It's like your future self saying, no, hold on. You're not going to want this.
How great was that movie?
Interstellar? It's my favorite. It's my current favorite movie. Probably second to La La Land. Nothing really tops La La Land. But it's definitely up there. Dude, when if you were to ask me what my top 5 favorite movies are right now, I couldn't tell you because I don't have a top 5. I have a top 20 and they're in no particular order. They're just like 20 movies that I can watch over and over and over without them getting lame.
So anyway, I got to apologize.
I'm going to continue on that later, guys, all right?
Last podcast, I had my Snuggie on for a little while. And then I took it off because I thought it was childish to have it on for the full... 20, 30 minutes of the podcast, fine. You know, I think that's respectable.
I'm not going to lie. It's cold as balls in here.
But, you know, an hour and 20 minutes, that's too much. That's too much. And I crossed... After I took... Give me 1 second. My computer is reminding me of all the horrible comments that I got after I posted.
I'm gonna have to look on that later.
Oh man, it was painful. So anyway, I crossed my legs after I took my Snuggie off, and I might put a little overhead video right now of how it was. And do you know what a camel toe is?
Never heard of it.
I had the biggest... I didn't even know, like, a human male could get a camel toe. It was, you could probably see it right there.
It's just like a ball wedgie, dude. I mean, you pull your underwear too high, and it, like...
So, like, I'm editing the podcast, and the only thing that I can pay attention to is my humongous camel toe.
That's
on
nasty,
air.
Man. I don't think anybody's looking down there, honestly. I mean, I hope nobody's looking at my nasty kneecaps that are just awkwardly in frame right now.
Everybody's looking at that crap.
They're like all hairy. It's really gross. Bad situation going on there. I like to wear jeans, but this is... I mean, I woke up like this, man. I can't lie.
I got a gift for you.
Oh, let's check it. Let's hear it.
I want to make this like a habit. On every episode, I'll give you something. Like last week, I gave you...
Let's go. I like this habit a lot.
The privilege of, you know, like taking the wrap off of my iPhone. Which, by the way, if you guys are trying to do anything creative with an iPhone 11, if you upload a video or if you try to download a video into your computer, if you have a Windows computer, that's longer than like 20 minutes, it won't let you. It simply won't let you.
Are you guys seeing me getting chills over here?
So that's how my whole thing started. Like, I couldn't even take out the previous part. I couldn't even take it out, put it on the computer because it wouldn't let me. The phone that I spent over $1,000 on for the main purpose of doing creative things with was impeding me.
My guy, but this is the top of the line phone right now. There's nothing better than this. Everything else is worse. You ever tried
to top of the line anything though? If I can put the video on my computer so I can edit it, what am I supposed to do?
You can't. Don't blame the phone though, because you can't get it. You ever tried to film an hour-long video with an Android? You can't. It doesn't have enough storage.
What does that mean? What is that word?
I can't even put that in the same sentence, man. Like it doesn't work like that.
What is droid?
And dude, worse phones.
Is that some Star Wars stuff? Like
My
a droid?
People think that I don't have a valid opinion when it comes to comparing iPhones and Androids. I've had both. I had an iPhone 4, which was my first phone I've ever had. I was 10 years old. And after that, I had an LG. I had some Samsung. Actually, I had two Samsungs because one of them got pooped on by my dog. It's a funny story. Anyways, one of them got pooped on by my dog, and I had to go get another one.
Wait, your dog took a dump
on my phone screen. On my phone screen. True story. I swear to God, I can't make that up. Am I too loud?
Oh, too loud.
All right, whatever.
We're good.
My dog took a doo-doo on my phone screen while I was away, and I had to come back.
Where do you put the phone at? Like
on my floor. On my floor. It was on the floor. You see how that charger over there is connected to the outlet?
Why would you have?
It was connected to the charger, and it was laying on the floor because I didn't have a desk there at the time, but I needed to charge it. And I left for like 2 hours. I was eating out or something. I came back, and there was doo-doo, dog doo-doo, all over my room, and he happened to lay a turd right on my phone screen.
I honestly think that was a lesson.
I never left my phone on the floor.
Your dog said, "This dude is leaving his phone on the floor. I can't talk, so I'm just gonna take a crap on it. He'll never do it again."
My guy, it was so humiliating, and I had to wait like another a couple months in order to get a new phone. So I had to use a phone that's whoa, why are you puking on me? I had to use a phone that smelled like doo-doo. I had to use a phone that smelled like dog doo-doo for 2 months. It was terrible.
I was not expecting.
No, you think I just got a phone the next day?
That's the reasonable thing. How are you gonna?
I was like 12. I can't make this up, my guy. You can ask my mom. You can ask.
I have soda all over me, dude.
Look, you spat it all over the wall.
Oh, dude, my gosh.
I had to use that same phone for 2 months, and every time I would make a phone call, I had to smell a turd. It was so bad. It was torture. It was torture, man.
Oh my God! Every time I'd be like, "Hello."
I can't make it up. And no, because I thought, dude.
I call you? Can you text me?
Me being the germaphobe that I am, I had
I don't even know how you did that.
I had like these like wipes, and actually I didn't even have disinfectant wipes. I had to put hand sanitizer on a tissue, and I scrubbed it on my phone screen. In fact, I did it so much that the phone screen, like the picture started fading away because it's not good for the phone to do that. And I was like, okay, it's clean, it's all disinfected. I would call somebody, and I had to smell straight up turd. That used to the residue was still on there. It was so bad. Like it was a torture. It was torture, and I had to wait. I had to wait a couple months to get another phone. Like it wasn't an overnight process. I had to wait until the trade-in date, which wasn't until a couple months after that. Because we get like a free trade-in every year, and it was bad. It was so bad. I had to use a doo-doo phone.
Literally a doo-doo phone.
First of all, it was a crap phone anyways. Second off, it was a crappy phone at that point. And
All right.
But
peace.
anyhow.
I'm gonna try to drink this second.
Anyhow, now that you spat soda all over the
Well, it's
floor,
not my fault.
now that you
just told me that you were putting dog crap on your face
For
to
2 months.
communicate with other people.
Oh, listen, while we're on the topic, I wanted to say this like while we were on the podcast. I've been wanting to say this to you in general, but since we're on the topic of phones and this electronic device that we all have in our pockets, I just wanted to say I think it's really funny. Not funny, but I think it's weird that we're calling this a phone. We could call this a flashlight because we call this a phone, but the phone feature is so rarely used at this. Like this isn't a phone anymore. A phone is ring ring ring. I'm gonna call you.
Well, the thing is that you probably you weren't born when this started happening, but remember that the phone was the platform, right? We had the cell phone that was the platform, and then Steve Jobs came, to the marketplace and was like, "Hey, we can make this a lot better," and then he added all the features that you have today. So if it would have been a flashlight platform and he would have grabbed a flashlight, he'll be like, "Hey, we can make this like text people and get apps," then we would still call it a flashlight. But because it was a phone originally, bro.
I totally understand that. All I'm saying.
Have you ever seen those little Nokia phones?
The ones that are like unbreakable.
I used to love that thing, man. That was this tiny, like that. I don't even remember. It was like the Nokia 5378 or some crazy thing like that. And the only game you had was Snake, and it was in black and white, and your little screen was like that. And in order to text, you had... hold on. Let me see what it was called. T9. And you had you had the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers to dial.
Yeah.
And then every number had 3 letters. A, B, C, D, E, F. And you had to if you were gonna get C, you had to hit it
3 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, and you got so fast doing that, Joke. My friend, do you remember Joey? No, bro, Joey would be like, I'm like, how are you doing this? Because that's all you used to do. There was no apps. There was nothing on the phone, so you would just text people.
Shoot, you got your charger over there, dog? I need to charge my phone. But
it was like
that's how they type. That's how they type in Japanese. Like, cause I changed my I changed one of my keyboards to
There's
to
a
Japanese.
outlet right behind you.
Thank you. I changed one of my things to Japanese, and that's how you have to type on there. So if I hit this like world button, like if
why are you
done
trying to type in Japanese?
for like the aesthetics, I guess. I don't know. But you have to, if you hit it 3 times, it changes to 3 different. It's really cool.
That's what I always thought about that. Like, how many letters are in Japanese? Like, how many?
But they do words differently. Like with us, we put a bunch of letters in from left to right and make it a word. In Japan, they make it like a symbol. Like every word has a symbol.
Don't they have like 8 different types of alphabets?
I don't know. All I know is that Japanese people are extremely smart.
Okay, there's 46 letters in the modern Japanese language.
46 letters?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Or syllables, I should say.
Syllables? Well, we have syllables? That doesn't even make any sense.
In modern Japanese, the hiragana and katakana syllabaries each contain 46 basic characters, or 71 including diacritics.
That was probably really ugly, the thing I just did. Whatever.
I know the Chinese have like 8,000 of them.
Bro.
I don't know, 26 letters. There are more than 100,000 different Chinese characters. It is actually impossible to count them all precisely. The number of useful characters for a literate person, however, it's only between 3,000 and 6,000. Oh, that's it.
Bro, speaking of Chinese, dude, I'm in my history class right now. Do you know what? I mean, you're into history and all that stuff, but do you know what China used to do to women's little girls' feet when they were like really young?
No.
It's nasty. It's nasty, and it was like the like the beauty status back then. So like women who had really small and like curled feet, that was like what was considered
Oh,
beautiful.
okay. So that's what like in the paintings and stuff. They have like the curled.
They have the toes that curl under their foot because if a woman had like nubs for feet, that was like considered that was
Okay,
like the
so it's called
beauty
foot binding.
Foot binding is what it's called. I was gonna tell you that. And what they would do, well, foot binding is the process. The process that they would make, when you had a little girl, her mom would take her foot and wrap it really tightly with like this wrap, I guess, and she would do something. She would like soak it in water, and it would slowly break all of her toes, and it's a very slow.
Oh man.
And yeah, it's a very slow and like painful process, especially when you have an 8-9-year-old girl and her mom's just like soaking her foot and just breaking all her toes backwards under her foot. But that was the beauty status. That's like the equivalent to, wearing makeup.
So
nowadays.
I'm gonna blow your mind right now. You know that they used to do that, but in your head. They called it head binding. Look.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen this, and I think that people in like ancient India, or maybe they still do it in some parts. They do it with their neck to make their neck really long. Maybe that's India. Maybe.
So
it's
you
like
imagine
Africa,
the
maybe?
person that found that skull that looks like a cone head?
They're like, this changes everything.
Let me see. Who was it that did it? Um,
Why would they do that?
Head binding, also called artificial cranial deformation, is a form of body alteration in which the skull of a human being is intentionally deformed. The head binding process typically begins approximately a month after birth,
A
as
month?
the skull is the most pliable at this time and continues for about 6 months. It is done by distorting the normal growth of a child's skull by applying force. Flat shapes, elongated ones, produced by binding between two pieces of wood, rounded ones, binding in cloth, and conical ones are among the most utilized shapes. But who was it that used to do it? Look at that baby with that big cone head. It's beautiful.
That's gotta mess up their brain or like do something that's not healthy.
That is crazy, dude.
Yeah, I knew they did it to your feet. I think people in it's either Africa or India. did it to
I
their
heard
neck.
somewhere, dude, that by doing that, like your brain actually had like 40% more space.
But it doesn't
Because
affect.
it goes
I
up.
mean,
So maybe
maybe they were onto something. Honestly.
they were onto something, dude.
That's weird, man. I know that they do it to their necks in somewhere. I keep
We
repeating
do
that.
weird things.
Yeah.
Human beings just do. Why early humans reshaped their children's skulls. Uh, let's see. For decades, blah blah blah. Australia's ancient inhabitants were among the first in the world to deliberately transform the shape of their own skulls, and their motives for doing were probably not as strange as they might appear. The skull was a source of controversy. Some researchers enthusiastically proclaim. Let's see, they soon won their argument.
I definitely have like some kind of scoliosis. You notice how I'm always sitting like to my side like this? I mean, it's kind of.
I do the same thing.
Bad for your spine, dude. You ever like sit in the shower, or not sit in the shower, but you ever like stand in the shower and you realize that you're very like not symmetrical? I don't know. I think about that a lot.
Have you ever done that that TikTok what's it called?
The filter that
the filter?
that reverses you.
Yeah. And
Or-
then you look like you're melting off
Yeah,
one
like
side.
one side is really droopy. I was actually perfectly symmetrical, so
Sure.
I mean, all that's got to do with the lighting and your hairstyle. I mean, it's all got to do. It all plays a role. Dude.
I'm trying to see why they were doing this stuff, and they have written this article that's like more like a book, and it's still not telling me. Anyway, they deformed skulls on purpose, and apparently it was like a sign of strength or something. I don't know.
Wait. You know what? Never mind. I'm not even gonna go there.
What?
I'm just saying. I mean, if they can do that with people's heads, I mean, I'm sure they can probably do that to other parts of the body as well. Just something to think about.
So I got something for you.
All right, let's see it. Nice. Wonder what it could be. Whoa.
There's a label on the other side that tells you.
Oh, that went under my nail. That was very, very, that was very painful and very hard to go through. Oh, nice. Nice, 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 nice. Holy crap, it is long. Oh my goodness.
So for those of you that are watching, this is the very first draft of my next book.
Zoom in on this. Read the first page.
And you are the very first person to actually lay eyes.
Really?
Yep.
No, you're lying. That's probably Elizabeth.
Well, Lizzie read the chapters, but like as the draft goes, this is the very first print of the draft.
It's long, man. Wow. I'm excited to read this, man.
So that should be coming out pretty soon, depending on your opinion of it.
Actually, it doesn't have anything to do with my opinion. Whether I tell you this is amazing or terrible.
I mean, if you
it's gonna
come back
out-
to me and you're like,
it's
"Yo,
gonna come out either way.
it's garbage," I'm like, "All right."
You're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna release it anyway. Retard, you don't know anything about writing. And you'd be very, very right in saying that, because I do not know anything about writing at all. I might have
Oh, you don't have to know anything about writing, dude. Writing is just like it's like watching television, you know. You don't have to know anything about filmmaking to go, that's a good story, or, you know, because it makes you feel a different way. It makes you feel either like, I enjoyed this, or wow, that was really garbage. You know, that's what storytelling is all about. It's about the way it makes you feel. It has to be interesting enough that you haven't lived it, but it also has to be real enough that it feels familiar. It's a very interesting balance. Don't try to put that back in there, dog. It took me 45 minutes to put that thing in there for
No
whatever
way.
reason.
But dude, I mean, you could have like clipped it together or something. How am I? I'm gonna lose my pages now.
They're all labeled, dude.
I know, but I'm gonna flip.
What do you want me to? What
throw
kind
it
of
away.
staple do you think I need to?
I'm saying clip it, like put some kind of, I don't know. This is a really, I mean, you could have made the words smaller or something. Whatever, man. I'm already nitpicking your book.
Already nitpicking.
I'm just saying.
It's
my first
draft. It's a
critique.
draft format, bro. That's how you're supposed to
You know,
write your
I can-
drafts.
This is an entire thing. Like, you had to buy an entire thing of paper just to print this, and you couldn't even do it front and back. You're a
Bro,
psychopath.
that's how
You're a
you.
psychopath.
That's how you write drafts. So then you can go through them
Oh, and mark
and
it
you
up.
can mark them and edit them and write under like.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's the official format of drafts.
Fair enough. But, I mean, you could have done it front and back, man. This is an entire thing of paper. This is a whole thing. This is an entire thing of paper that you had to buy just to print this. And this isn't even the actual book. I hope you printed this out your job or something. You're gonna get fired.
Of course.
You're gonna be like, where did all the paper go? Somebody used the last packet.
I was thinking about, Abuelo's been trying to. He's been trying to get me to print on his new printer
Oh, God.
because he's really excited about it. I haven't even seen it.
Looks like a printer.
But he's like, hey, man, it has Wi-Fi now. Go ahead and hook your phone up to it. I'm like, I don't really need to print anything. For sure. He asked me for like 3 days straight. Hey, have you connected the phone to the Wi-Fi? I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta do that. And then I finished the book and I was like, should I ask him? I was like, if he sees me printing 800 pages, he'll be
Yeah.
like, all right, that's enough, dude. You're gonna have to buy me new ink or something.
Dude. Just
Because
do it.
those printers, like, they print like 50 pages.
And you're
And
done.
then they run out of ink. And then the ink is more expensive than the printer. So it's like the perfect business model, dude. It's like, we're gonna sell you this super cheap technology that you're gonna have to buy over and over and over again as long as you want to use it.
I mean, it's good business. I mean,
It's great business.
I'm working in the wrong industry, I think. You remember how earlier opening that I put that crap under my nail? Well, I'm actually bleeding internally now, so that's really nice. Really painful process going on under my nail right now.
So anyway, you have 2 weeks to read that and let me know.
2 weeks?
Yeah, because I'm gonna start doing I'm gonna start working on the second draft.
Listen,
in
man,
2 weeks.
I'll have that finished by next year. So
It's really not that long, dude. I mean, usually my first drafts are a little shorter, and
you know
then
how
I add
long it
details
took
to
me to
it.
read 1984? Little book. Took me. How long did it take me? Take me like 2 months just to read
Yeah, a
that.
long time. Hello. Um. No, I think you're gonna like this book. I think as soon as you start reading it, you're gonna get into it. Reading is just like anything, bro. It's just like working out. Do you remember the first week you worked out?
Yes.
It was difficult, and then you're like, man, this feels good. Like I'm doing so much without even realizing it. And then you get bored and you quit and you don't work out for a whole year, and then you're like, hey, I used to work out. It was easy, but now it's gonna be hard again because I haven't done it
I think you just
in a
told.
long
I think you
time.
just told your story. It's not my story.
This is true.
No, that's not my story at all.
And it's happened more than once. Listen, man. It's hard for adults to work out because we already do so much. And I know it's not an excuse, but it's like you work and then I do 8,000 other things, and then it's like, oh, I gotta go to the gym, and for whatever reason, that always becomes like the last option. Like you're always like, oh, I either take a shower or go to the gym. Oh, I'll take a shower. I'll go to the gym tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because it's always the option that you have control over. You know what I'm saying? Like you can always decide not to do it. But if you don't take a shower, then your coworkers get upset the next day. But if you don't go to the gym, nobody gets upset. So
The thing about working out, not even working out, dude. Every single day, I have to do school for 6-7 hours. That's including with homework. It's probably 7 hours. So I get done with school at like 3:30 maybe, and then I have to make a video, work out, go for a walk because it's good for a bunch of things. Then I have to eat dinner, take a shower. Then I gotta be in bed by 10 or 11, because I have to wake up at 8 o'clock the next morning. I don't have time for anything, man. I don't have time. Like I'm freaking loaded. I'm loaded, and now it's starting to occur to me that soon I'm gonna have to get a job of some sort because I have no money, and I'm turning 16 in a couple literally a couple weeks, and it just occurred to me like now I'm have some big boy responsibilities. Not
bro,
just
I
go to
dreamt
school
last
and blah,
night.
blah, blah,
I
blah.
dreamt last night that I got a quote to pay for your car insurance,
Oh God.
and it would literally turn into a nightmare after I saw the amount that I had to pay.
Oh man.
So you've had all this stuff that you've been doing, which, by the way, the only thing you really have to do is school. Everything else you put on yourself, so it's not like.
Well, not necessarily though, because yes, well, if I stop doing all of those things, I'm not gonna die or get kicked out of school or anything. So I know what you mean, but if I stop doing music and pursuing what I don't have any other choices.
Camel toe, here we go.
Oh, okay. I don't have any other choice.
I'm gonna be a proper lady today.
Like, if I stop music, and I stop pursuing and I stop entrepreneuring, I'm gonna live with my parents for the rest of my life, and I'm gonna either that or I'm gonna be a bum on the streets because I have no other choice. I have nothing else. Where else is my income coming from?
So if you guys saw the last podcast and you saw a couple of clips of Samuel's or Space's music, put in the comments what you think. What you think of his music. Should he continue to pursue it, or?
I don't have a choice. Whether everybody in this comment section says that he should literally just stop right there because he's not going to make it anywhere, or whether they all say I should keep going for the rest of my life and never give up. I have no other choice.
The thing is, like, over the past weekend, you had like 6 panic attacks.
No, that was all just on Friday.
No, it wasn't. It was all throughout the weekend.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. I'm packed, loaded. I have got so many things to do, and don't get me wrong. I'm not unhappy by any means. I've just
Oh, you just have a lot of stress.
I have a lot of stuff I got to do, man. And I mean, you're right. Besides school and all that stuff, like all that stuff is voluntary. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the thing that's like keeping me going is not just because I want to. It's because I literally like, what's the alternative? Do the one thing that I have promised I'm never gonna do, which is follow the system, which is the road to unhappiness for 90% of Americans.
So
What's that road? It's go to college for 4 years, study something you really don't care about, but you say you do, and then get a job in something completely different than what you studied because it doesn't actually matter what you have a degree in. And then you stay in that office job working in a cubicle from 9 to 5, super unhappy, working the same thing every single day, you know, printing the same papers and emailing the same people and getting the same phone calls, dealing with the same stupid people, and never really getting a promotion, but you feel like you're working towards something.
How do you know what my job is like?
I'm just saying, dog, because I'm not saying you. I'm saying this is the system that everybody is going through. I mean, haven't you seen the Squidville? It's an episode of SpongeBob where Squidward feels like he has everything he wants, but in reality he's following the same thing that everybody else is doing, and he gets stuck in this cycle. That's exactly what America is right now. They make you feel like if you go to college you're gonna have this wonderful life, but in reality they're just setting you up to get into the same darn system that they had to be in, because they feel like if they have to suffer, then everybody has to suffer. And I'm just not about that life. So what's the alternative? What's gonna happen to me if I stop being an entrepreneur, staying on the grind, doing my music?
You're gonna probably die of a heart attack at 25.
What's the alternative is
To
getting
live till 70.
getting stuck. I would rather die at 30 doing what I love than die at 85 working in a
25
cubicle.
for sure.
Working in a cubicle, printing papers, working in something I genuinely don't care about. It bothers me when people say I'm going to go study this in college, because I'm like, since when have you been passionate about that? Since when?
Some people are, bro. Some people want to be marine biologists.
Some people want to be a doctor. That's what they're genuinely interested in. They watch doctor videos on YouTube on their free time. They're watching doctor stuff. They're studying doctor stuff because it interests them. But most of the doctors out there, they just decided that they want to make a lot of money and they want to do something because they know they have to go to college, and because of all this and all the financial whatever, and because it's the easy route. Go to college, be a doctor, study, work hard. That's the easy route. What's not easy is playing it super risky and investing in 6 different stocks and being on the grind, playing on a subway with your guitar because it's actually what you enjoy doing. That's risky. What's not risky though? Going to college for 4 years and having it handed to you? That's not risky at all. But it is risky doing what you're passionate about, which is why nobody does it. And that's literally,
well, a lot of people try.
And
when
then
it
they
gets
hit
hard,
the brick
they give
wall.
up. Yeah.
They hit the brick wall, and then they go, okay, well, time for the easy route. And I'm just not about that, man. Will someday I'll hit that rock bottom point and be like, oh man, I guess I should have went to college. I should have worked in an office because it was so much easier. Maybe, but I'm not about living that whole systemic. I'm gonna go to work from 9 to 5 and follow all the rules and be just like everybody else. I just can't live like that, man. I just can't. And if I am gonna live like that, I'm also gonna always work towards the being, out of that system, being able to wake up and do what I love and make money. And that's, everybody convinces themselves that they're doing that. Everybody convinces themselves, oh, I love my job. I might complain about it, but in reality, I'm super happy at my job. Like, no, you're not. Like, nobody likes working in freaking, what's a generic freaking company that people freaking work in? Nobody enjoys
McDonald's.
Yeah, nobody enjoys working at, what's like a cubicle job? What's something that somebody might do in like an office? Like some super basic.
Yeah, some data entry job.
Like nobody enjoys
for Raymond
that.
James or something.
Dude, my thing is, if you say that you are gonna go to college and study marine biology, but on your free time you're scrolling through TikTok learning TikTok dances, and you don't give 2 craps about marine biology on your free time, then why? Like you're just convincing yourself that you like marine biology. You don't give two craps about it. What do you really give two craps about? Learning TikTok dances and doing
What's
TikTok
wrong
trends.
with TikTok dances?
Nothing at all. Because look at Charlie D'Amelio, dog. She is doing what she loves, which is dancing, and she's making a fortune. She's making more than me and you combined. I can promise you that. Probably she's making more than me, you, Awello, and my mom combined. And she's doing what she loves. What if Charlie D'Amelio was like, wow, I love doing TikTok dances, but that's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to go study marine biology in college. Where would she be right now? Where? Nowhere. She'd be a nobody. Charlie who? It's like, why don't you just pursue what you like instead of convincing yourself that you're interested in something that you're not interested
Well,
in?
and also some people just don't. They want to do what makes money, right? They don't care about what their passion is making money. I mean, you don't become a stockbroker because you like to be in a boiler room making 800 calls a day, or stressing out about whether the stocks went up or down. You're just there because you want to make money and you're passionate about making money. So some people do that. They like making money, they like investments or whatever. So anyway, you are really passionate about what you're doing. So obviously you had like 7 panic attacks, one after another for like the
Panic
entire
attacks.
weekend.
Panic attacks.
Yeah, but panic attacks. You
Panic
couldn't
attacks.
sleep. You thought you were dying.
Listen, man, it sounds like an average Sunday to me, dog. I
Sure.
don't know about you.
So we went on Saturday. We went and we took you to relax. I took you to a sensory deprivation tank.
It's wonderful. I've spoken nothing, dude. I've swore on sensory deprivation tanks since we went. Everybody who I've talked to, I've been like, "That's amazing. You guys gotta go do it." Unless you're claustrophobic. If you're claustrophobic, you stand no chance. But if you're not, then
They have open ones, right? they have rooms in that very same place where instead of the bubble,
Oh yeah, I saw like a bathtub looking.
it's
thing,
just
right?
like a bathtub.
Yeah.
And then you just turn the lights off and you float in there.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It's really nice. I mean, I have said nothing but good things about it since I left. It was an ethereal experience. I don't know if that's the correct way to use
What's the
that word.
definition of ethereal?
Definition of ethereal is beautiful, like overwhelmingly beautiful. I don't know if that's the right context to use it, but it was ethereal because it was overwhelmingly beautiful and it was very, very it was surreal. To kind of be
Extremely
floating there.
delicate and light in a way that seems too perfect for this world.
Yes, indeed. It was overwhelmingly beautiful.
Or of a solution having diethyl ether as a solvent.
Yeah, that's not what I meant.
Those are two very different
Yeah.
definitions.
I either just said that it was super delicate and precious, or I said that it was some weird.
Or you were
chemical.
trying to make some chemical compound.
I'm talking chemistry over here.
Yeah, I love the sensory deprivation tank. I actually want to do it more often because it definitely it's both physical and mind
Benefits.
expanding, I would say, in the physical way because you're floating in water.
Salt water.
In salt water, so you can't sink or anything. Your body has the ability or has the opportunity for the muscles to actually expand, and you usually are tight either because of stress or the way you sit, the way you stand, all the stuff you're doing. The way it feels to me, like I was thinking I was in there, I was like, this is probably what it feels like to be in the womb.
Honestly, probably.
To be in your mother's womb, because you're just floating there and your body's like completely light, like there's no pressure anywhere, so your muscles are going back to its very natural state and they're just decompressing, and when you get out of there you feel it. You almost feel like you're still floating because you feel so light, and all your muscles are, especially your back muscles and your neck muscles, are like they don't even exist almost. And your mind is the same way. Like something happened to me this time around, because I was able to really also like almost like get into a meditative state, dude. And I was having this recalls of memories that I didn't even remember having anymore. Like I remember, like all of a sudden I was like 7 years old again, playing in my house, and I remember that I was playing on the floor of the house, and in my house the floor had like a very intricate pattern, the tiles, And it had like shapes to it and stuff, and I could see the shapes of the tiles, and there was like a table on the side that had like ashtrays and like different knickknacks and stuff, and I could see them, dude. Like I could see them perfectly. It was like as if I was almost there. It was so insane to relive so many memories, so detailed, almost like if they were a lucid dream. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's when you realize when you're in that type of state, when you put yourself in a state where you are allowing your mind to completely empty out, you realize two things. You realize um, that your mind is always going, no matter what, because even when you try to not think, there's 100 different thoughts going through it, and you're like, I thought I had control over my mind. Like I thought I could decide what to think, what not to think. You do not. If you think you have control over your mind, try not thinking right now. You're gonna get 100 different thoughts, and your mind's gonna go 100 different ways. You know, so your thoughts, whether you believe it or not, are not really your thoughts. They're just popping in and out of existence, and you are just looking at them. You're observing them. You know, it's not like you're pushing out a thought. Try to think about something right now. Just try to. You don't. The thought just pops in and out of your head, and then it changes and it becomes something else, and it evolves. And first you're thinking about something, and then your mind goes into thinking about something else, and you're like, what was I thinking about? What was it that I was thinking about? Did I remember to? It's a mess. So that's the very first thing that you realize, and then the second thing is you realize how busy and how convoluted and stuffed your mind is with everyday menial stuff, that when you get rid of that menial abundance of like garbage thoughts, basically your mind has the ability to expand and go into this different realm of thought that you don't experience on a day-to-day basis. And that's why I think meditation is so important, because we're so stressed out. We're so overwhelmed with what we think every single day that we're like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. I don't know what. And then when you're able to quiet that mind, or at least quiet it somehow, like being in a sensory deprivation tank, all of a sudden your mind, it's almost like it has space to, you know what I'm saying, to expand. And all of a sudden you're having this deep thoughts where you're like getting to really meet yourself and to know who you are, and to go back to memories that you didn't even know you had, and to really understand why you're having those memories, or how you felt when you were having those memories, or specific childhood events that you don't even remember having, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I understand now. I understand why I feel this way, or I understand why I behave this way. It was because of that moment where I felt this way, or somebody treated me this way, or something happened to me, either positive or negative. And we don't even have the ability right now to access that frame of mind. And my question would be, is that on purpose?
Is what on purpose?
Is the system designed to keep us busy enough to where we don't really get to know ourselves and really understand that the system itself is flawed? We don't have time to weed out the confusion.
And that would be why people who meditate a lot kind of become spiritually awakened.
For sure.
Is because they kind of
Yeah.
They kind of settled down the equation a little bit. I mean, that makes sense.
I agree with that 100%, and I think that people when people that don't know what meditation is, or that have never done meditation, they think it's, oh, you're just gonna clear your mind and try to explore the universe or whatever. When you're meditating, you're not looking outwards, you're looking inwards, you're looking within yourself, because the fact of the matter is that you are the universe, right? Everything that you know exists is inside your mind. Everything. There's nothing that you have experienced outside of your head. Everything is in your mind. So your mind is your very own universe. Anything and everything that is real to you and that is real to this world is inside of you. And the only way that you're going to get to know the universe and everything in it is by getting to know yourself. And the only way you get to know yourself is by looking inwards. And meditation is probably the best practice to do that. But the same thing happens again. It's like working out. You're like, man, I gotta meditate for 30 minutes. You're gonna sit there doing nothing for 30 minutes when you have so much crap you gotta get done. It takes work, and then you sit there, and all the thoughts, it's like you can't do it, right? It's like everything is yelling at you from all different places, and homework and work and the kid and the wife and the girlfriend and this and that and the buttholes at work that don't, all this stuff is like bothering you constantly. You're like, oh my god, it's like I have like 1,000 mosquitoes trying to bite me at all times, dude. You know what it's like? You know what thoughts are like? They're like that buzzing when you go into like a gnat
Yeah.
infested area. It was like, and you get so used to it because it's like that all the time that you don't even notice it anymore. And all of a sudden it goes away, or it slows down, and you're like, huh, this is kind of cool. I hadn't noticed that before. I hadn't heard that sound before. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what's really wrong with our society nowadays. We're falling further away from getting to know ourselves because there's so much stuff that we think is outside. So many things, so much technology, so many things to do or whatever that, and that's why in this lockdown, because I can't say the other words, in this lockdown that we've had, so many people that have had a hard time not only dealing with themselves, but dealing with each other, dealing with their wives and their husbands and the people that they're stuck at home with, because they realize, oh crap, I didn't even know this person. All of a sudden, you have to actually pay attention to what you're doing and to what they're doing, and you know how many divorces this thing costs, dude?
Unreal amount.
To where you're like, spend 2 weeks with your wife, and you're like,
I can't anymore, dude.
what is this? Who is this woman? You know what I'm saying? And everything is designed to distract us from all that. It's not profitable to the system for you to think. It's not. And that's why they confuse you, right? You will never go, or you will never watch a program on television or a news program or any kind of news article or information that's going to tell you, hey, how about you make up your mind? Here are the opposing ideas. This is what he says. This is what she says. These are the facts of the matter. Now here, think about it and make up your mind about what you think is right or no. That already comes pre-stuffed in a package, right? Depending on where you go to absorb that information, it already has your mind made up. It already has a decision made. This is wrong, this is right, and this is why. So by the time you absorb that information, you don't have to think about it. You don't even have to question whether it's right or wrong. It's already right or wrong. It's already good or bad. Your input is not necessary. And thus your thinking ability is not required. And we think we're doing all this thinking, like the people that are really passionate about either politics or the right or the left, they're so passionate and they think they know, they think they really know what's going on. And these freaking idiots here, they don't know what the heck they're doing because I read or I saw. And they don't realize that they're just being manipulated like anybody else. If you think you're 100% sure of what you read, or what you learned, you're already wrong. You are already in the wrong. Period.
It's one of those things, man, that it's like you have a spectrum, and if you're way on one side or way on the other side, you're automatically super closed-minded, and you're automatically super wrong. I mean, it's like I told you. You have super mega religious people who won't even let you wear certain clothes or listen to certain music. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have atheists who are like diehard, I will never believe in any kind of higher power. I don't believe anything. Like, they're both on the same side of the fence in the fact that they both believe one super strong opinion, and they are super close-minded sticking to that opinion. If you were to go tell an atheist or a super religious person that the universe is infinite and that everything exists, they'd be like, you're crazy, because they don't have the open mind for that. So the same thing comes to when it comes to anything, anything in the world that's going on right now. Whether you have one person who believes one thing and you have the other person who believes the other thing, they're both in the wrong, because you have to have an open mind to believing whatever the truth is. Because once you look out of that, you realize what the truth is. But these people, they let their opinions get a hold of them. They let their, they're brainwashed. Honestly, they're just brainwashed.
So let me ask you something. Give me your honest opinion. It's not a trick question. What am I?
What are you, or what are like we as a collective?
Like, what am I? Am I right? Am I left?
You personally, I mean, I think neither. I mean, I think you're pretty middleman, honestly.
I try to think the same way too, bro. But you know what I noticed this past week, especially, is that when it comes to the attitude and the behavior and the way that that people are acting nowadays, being reasonable is not an option.
Doesn't work like that, Chief.
Bro, I have never said I'm a fan of Trump. I have never said I'm a fan of Biden or that other lady that he hangs out with. Bro, I've always tried to look at things from like the angle of what's going on. It's like if I see two people arguing down there, I'm like, hey, those two people are arguing and punching each other. I don't know why, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see it from high up in the sky so I can get a better picture. Whether I do that or not, I don't know. We'll never know, But that's what I try to do. And like, for example, if I say something like, I think we should all have the ability to hear both sides of, the argument and then make up our minds, all of a sudden I'm a Trump supporter.
You know that the day or the moment I realized that you were extremely open-minded and you were extremely like the middleman is I saw up here you had 2 books that said the name Trump on it, and you said that one of them was good things, and
The Art of the Deal, which is like his #1 selling book.
So, and then the other one was talking almost badly. So you said that you were informing yourself before you obviously made an opinion based off just what you see in the media. Is that you're informing yourself, you're seeing the good, you're seeing the bad, and then that's when you have your opinion.
Nope.
Is when you've seen
Nope.
both sides.
Wrong.
What?
I'm a Trump supporter.
Yeah, right.
Because I have a Trump book.
Right.
I have 2 Trump books. Actually, I have 3 of them. So I support Trump.
Just
super right.
Trying
Hate
to
liberals. Hate 'em.
trying to inform yourself about something before you make an opinion about it
No, wrong.
is not being one-sided.
Yo, did you see that I sent you the other day?
What?
When I tweeted about like, I'm gonna vote. I made this video right where I was like,
Oh,
hey, guess what? It's my first. I just became an American citizen like 2 years ago.
Someone
I'm
said
gonna get to vote
you're gonna
this
waste
year.
your vote on some guy.
And then I made this like, like crying, like saying, it's a tough choice, right? Like it no matter what, that they're not the ideal candidates that you would love to have, especially in the country going like this. It's a tough choice for someone that will be on the side. It was meant to be a joke and just to show the current situation. And then I put hashtags at the bottom, and I put both Trump and Biden hashtags, just so the algorithm will pick the thing up,
Right.
People only see Trump. And this guy was like, how? Don't say that you're going to waste your vote on Trump. Are you kidding me? I'm like, I didn't say I was voting. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to vote because it's really hard to decide. Bro, this guy goes off. I mean, he's like, are you effing kidding me? He types, one choice is a really nice, I'm not even making this up, dog. This was his argument. One of them is a really nice guy that even Republicans like. and the other one kill my ancestor, the Jews.
Might want to check up on that, pal. I commented on one of your things the other day because like you said, you put a Trump 2020 hashtag and you also put a Biden 2020 hashtag, but you like accidentally put Trump 2020 twice and you put Biden once. And I was like, canceled. He put Trump 2020 twice. Trump supporter, right wing, canceled. I'm a supporter of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Honestly,
We are losing
I don't
our
follow
dang
politics, man.
minds. We're not even acting logically anymore. It all comes from a place of hatred and division. We're becoming animals. We have all this technology. We have all this advancement in science and medicine and everything else. We take tin cans and make them fly. We're gonna be in Mars not too long from now, and yet, as a human species, we are becoming more like bonobos that we are as advanced intelligent species. I'm not even joking about that. It's within 10 years we're gonna be eating the little ticks and flies out of each other's hair like bonobos and monkeys do, because that's where we're going. That's where we're going. And you know what's funny, dude? And we're already at an hour, so I'll leave it at this. The funny thing is that you see all the hatred. I was thinking about this. You see all the hatred and all the division and all this stuff. In 2 years, this whole thing's going to be over. Nobody's even going to talk about it anymore. They're going to be into the next problem, right? And they're like, oh, but weren't you fighting about, weren't you arguing about Trump or this? Oh, yeah, no, it's something else now. And they won't even remember what the heck they were arguing about. They were arguing for the sake of arguing and being on one side. Everybody's supposed to be on one team. You're either the Lakers or the Heat. You have to be representing one area. And I was watching this podcast today, and then we'll wrap it up. That was talking about they were interviewing the psychologist that deals with narcissists and narcissistic behavior. And you know that narcissistic behavior, it's evolutionarily designed for certain benefits. Like, for example, the person that's a narcissist, the guy that thinks like he's the crap, like he's he's the ish, is able to reproduce a lot faster.
Oh, really?
Yep. They're also a lot better in business, because they don't care about running people over and doing what they have to do to make a lot of money.
Well, that's also a little bit like sociopathic kind of behavior.
Yeah, I mean, narcissistic behavior has to do with a little bit of,
sociopathic. I mean, you don't care about what you gotta do; just do it.
Yeah. Well, narcissists care about themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're a narcissist and you think that you're the ish, you're designed that way because evolution needs you. Also, slutty girls are designed by evolution.
Nice.
You have for what I've learned, you have both kinds. You have the kind that it's slutty, which tends to be able to receive a lot of mates. So the mates that wouldn't actually normally be able to reproduce with somebody that's a little slutty, so the genetic pool diversifies. And then on the other side, you have the girls that stick to one mate, which offer protection to their their child or whatever.
Yeah.
Their reproductive cycle.
I mean, it all comes. I mean, all that stuff. It all comes.
Yeah,
from
I don't know what I'm
evolution.
talking about, but that's what I heard.
No,
it makes sense.
It all makes sense. It all comes from evolution. When people say that, religious or not, dude, like you're dumb if you don't believe in evolution. Like, I mean, come on. I mean, really.
It's like I was saying in my last podcast. What does it matter? Like, if evolution, and we know evolution, it's a fact. Like, there's plenty of proof for it. That shouldn't make you stop believing in God if you believe in God, because it makes sense that if a God was smart enough to create all this stuff, there's already proof that we live in a self-sustaining environment. So he or she or it puts all the rules in place, hits the button, and then just the gears start spinning. It's so cost effective, because instead of having to create every single little thing, you put the rule for the thing to make itself through adaptation
You
of its
You
environment.
plant the seed, which becomes a
Exactly.
tree. You don't build the tree. Dummies. If okay, so let's say that I was God, right? What, and using my tree example, why would I just have to get? Why would I spend 36 hours building a tree from scratch instead of just planting a seed and just letting it bloom by itself? Just saying. I mean, I don't believe in any kind of personal being, sitting there and designing any of this. Anyways, of course, I think there's a higher level of intelligence above our class, but I also think there's one below our class, and I think it goes on for infinity. But like I said, I mean, it's one of those things where you got to be open-minded, because if one day aliens come, or if one day God, comes from the heavens and is like, hey guys, I'm God, and I'm like, wow, okay, well, I guess I was wrong, then whatever. I mean, you're not going to be like, no, I'm sticking to what I believe.
Do you know the only thing that physics has not been able to explain yet?
What?
Consciousness.
Consciousness?
It doesn't fit in any of the models that we have for physics.
I don't know. I don't think we're actually really as conscious as we think we are. I think there's like I said, I think there's a higher level.
Yeah,
of
I don't think we like when I'm talking about consciousness, I'm talking about like universal, the universal conscious being that we all are a part of.
Well, define consciousness. Like, what is consciousness?
What does it feel like? I mean, and I learned this from the book by Sam Harris and his wife, Annika Harris, I believe her name is. She wrote the book Conscious, and it explains what consciousness actually is and where it might have come from. So consciousness is experience, right? So if you want to explain consciousness, you got to ask yourself the question, okay, what does it feel like? What is it like to be a bat? Can you think of what it's like to be a bat?
What am I supposed to say? I mean, I guess I can kind of.
Okay, so what is it like to be a rock?
I can't imagine being a rock.
Exactly. So the bat obviously has some level of consciousness because it experiences something as it's alive.
Yeah.
It has a sense of experience based on its own limitations and the things that it can do. A rock cannot. So when you ever think about is something conscious, well, is that something experiencing the universe in one way or the other? And if it is, then most likely it will be conscious.
I think we relate consciousness super closely to something having like eyeballs. You know what I mean? Because we can relate to it seeing something. Like, we can never imagine a tree being conscious.
Yeah. And that's where panpsychism comes in, which I also read in that book. And they're explaining that consciousness can even probably be a part of inanimate objects, that because we can't explain like how our brains produce consciousness, because we relate, like you said, we relate consciousness to a working brain and the eyes and the senses, but it's not really necessary. We know like there are things that are conscious and don't really have a brain.
I mean, like I said, think about like plants and trees. They have a survival instinct, but you're telling me that they don't have like any kind of consciousness at all? I mean, they literally, they know flowers are colorful to attract bees, so that the bees go and pollinate other flowers. Like, that's
Everything has a level of intelligence that's beyond.
I mean,
rebuttal.
that's a straight up survival instinct. That's that's an evolutionary survival instinct. And you're telling me that plants aren't conscious at all?
So panpsychism
Bull crap, bro.
states that everything in the universe is inherently conscious. It has a level of consciousness. So anything that has some kind of electrical circuit, it probably has some sort of experience that we don't know about, or that we can never, or not now, we can never deduce or figure out. So
I think we're really just connected to every single thing in the world. Man.
For sure.
Not
For
even in
sure.
the, I think we're connected to everything in the universe, which is, I mean, everything.
Dude, it's like the ocean, right? When you take a little bit of water out of the ocean, you don't say that this water became something else, right? It's still part of the ocean.
Still ocean water.
You know, it's still the ocean. A wave is a wave, but it's still part of the entire collective of the ocean. We're just little waves in the ocean, dude. Every single one of us is a little wave that rises up at birth and splashes down at death. We have this very short span of life, but we are connected to this conscious ocean that
When-
we're all a part of.
When we die, we just become a part of the universe in a different way. You know what I mean?
For
like,
sure.
We're still part
Our
of the
energy
universe.
doesn't dissolve. Our atoms just change into something else.
And
They
you're not. I
become
mean, when I
something
die,
else.
okay. I mean, hopefully, you die before I do, because you don't. I mean, you should never bury your kids. But say you were to die, I wouldn't just forget you. I mean, you'd still be part of the universe, which is the memory living inside my brain.
And the stuff that I'm made up of, it doesn't, like my atoms.
You just move on, and this sounds so corny and something that you would say at a funeral, but you genuinely
Right.
just move on to a different role in the universe. I mean, that's all it is.
What do you atoms do whenever you're dead? They just transform themselves into something else.
Yeah.
And the energy cannot be destroyed, so that energy is still goes out there into the universe, and like you said, becomes something else.
People like to think that we're like this. Like, this is like a person and this is like the universe. We're just kind of like in the universe, but it's more like this. Like, this is all the universe and this is you. You're very, very much connected to it. We're just this little tiny cell in this big picture that is the big entity that we're living in. And I think it goes on forever and ever and ever to create a big living, I mean very literally, living and breathing being. And we're just a small part of it. I mean, cells in our brain, work the same way that we do, just on a much smaller scale. So I think that it expands forever and ever and ever. I think we're part of something that's really big, and I think that big thing is a very small portion of something even bigger.
Yep.
And I think it keeps on going. And that's really what I believe.
If you guys want to continue to be part of this shenanigans, please do hit the subscribe button. We would love to have you around as we continue to do this. If you would like to learn more about Space's music, they can find you at.
The infamous Space on every platform.
And if you want to learn more about my books and this upcoming draft, which I'm very excited about, I think you guys are really, really going to enjoy it. Go to jchirino.com. You can see my books there. You can see my writing. You can see my podcast and every other nonsensical thing that I do all in one place. Ain't that exciting? Thank you guys for sticking around. We'll see you next time. I don't know why I did that.
That was really cringy.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that.